Israel presses ahead with the genocide of Palestinians in Gaza as its latest strikes target an UNRWA aid facility in Jabalia refugee camp meant for the displaced people in the northern Gaza Strip. The Israeli attack on UNRWA has killed 4 people while injuring dozens of others. Separately, 2 airstrikes have targeted a populated market in Gaza City, killing at least 30 people. Scores of people were also injured in that attack. To the south of the Strip in Khan Yunis, an Israeli drone strike killed 3 people. Meanwhile, the civil defense teams have recovered the body of a 3-month-old infant from under the rubble of an earlier bombardment. According to Gaza Health Ministry, the death toll since October 2023 is nearing 52,800, most of them women and children. For more on that story, we're joined by political analyst and blogger Jim Kavanagh, who's joining us from New York. Mr. Kavanagh, welcome to the program. Please give us your thoughts on how this genocide in Gaza is transpiring. Just recently, an UNRWA school was targeted. Aid convoys, medical workers, journalists, UN peacekeepers, they've all been targeted by Israel. What does this say about the Israeli intent in your views? Is the deliberate targeting of humanitarian infrastructure and obstruction of aid supplies by Israel part of this broader genocidal campaign in Gaza?
Well, yes, of course it is. Obviously it is. Look, I've been saying since the beginning, the point of this intervention by Israel, invasion in Gaza, was never about Hamas. It was not to get rid of Hamas. You know, they fight Hamas, and Hamas does pretty well, but it's to get rid of the Palestinian people in Gaza, to kill or expel them. And it's been doing it for 18 months, and it's now at the stage where it's starving everyone to death, starving children to death deliberately. They've had a decision by the Israeli government explicitly to annex Gaza, to push the Palestinian people into the south, to like a 4.5 kilometer enclave in the south. They're going to set up this phony humanitarian aid organization that they set up in Geneva, which will offer little bits of food if they move south, and then they'll push them out. They're going to, they explicitly said, they're going to, the Americans and the Israelis, the Americans are going to say to every Arab country, your foreign aid is going to depend on you taking Palestinian humanitarian refugees. It's a humanitarian program forcing the Palestinians to leave Gaza. They'll have nice lives in Arab countries. They'll force them to take 100, 200,000, 300,000, and European countries, maybe African countries. This is a genocidal ethnic cleansing campaign to finish the Nakba, which killed or expelled 80% of the Palestinians in 1947, 48. And now they want to kill or expel 80% of the Palestinians in Gaza right now. And they're doing it. And nobody is stopping them. Everybody is, all around the world. Francesca Albanese, a wonderful woman, saying we need to have intervention, humanitarian intervention. Someone has to come in with military escorted humanitarian aid to Gaza. But I'm afraid we're watching the Gazans be killed and chased out, and that's the Israeli goal from the beginning. I've been saying it, and it's horrible, and it's happening, and I don't see how it's going to stop. Their mission is to kill or expel as many Palestinians as possible, and they're going to promote the expulsion as a humanitarian thing once everybody's starving to death, and there's no place to live anyway.
Mr. Kavanagh, looking at all the non-combatants that have been targeted, that's apart from the innocent women and children in Gaza, like the ones that we just mentioned now with the UNRWA aid facility, and of course, even including the World Central Kitchen staff that were murdered in Gaza. There has to be a point where all these Western countries that are supporting the regime start to say, okay, enough is enough, because way too many red lines have been crossed.
So you say. I'm going to tell you there isn't. If that point hasn't been reached already, when is it going to be reached? As you say, they've killed World Council Kitchen. They've killed humanitarian. They've targeted doctors and professors at home with their families in order to make sure they kill the whole family. They have, what was it, 15, 19 humanitarian medical workers. They killed them and buried them in the ambulance. And now, who is it was saying, maybe the foreign minister of Australia or Great Britain said, oh, we don't know whether this starvation really is starvation or deliberate or not. This is baloney. I'm sorry to tell you, but the Western countries don't give a fig about the Palestinians. And you know what? Who does? Who is willing to risk the conflict with Israel and the United States that it would take to save the Palestinians in Gaza? The Houthis, the only country in the world so far who's willing to challenge the Israelis and Americans militarily, which is what it's going to take. It's not hard. This could have been done over a year. If I had said 2 years ago, oh, the Western countries are never going to allow this to happen. They're never going to allow journalists to be killed. They're never going to allow doctors to be killed. They're never going to allow hospitals to be blown up. They're never going to allow 80%, 90% of the homes. They're never going to allow deliberate starvation, targeting and sniping of children. They'll never allow that. Sooner or later, they'll come to their senses and say, we've got to stop this. The United States of America, Germany, England, they are providing the arms and political assistance that's necessary to do this. This is a process. This is a crime that's being committed by Israel with a complete complicity. They're not just sitting back and watching it. They're doing it. And when are they going to stop? You say they're going to stop? I've heard that for a year and a half. Oh, they can't go beyond this point. They'll definitely stop them. I don't see it. They're going to stop when someone comes in with military force and forces them to stop. Not before.
Thanks a lot, sir. Political analyst and blogger Jim Kavanagh joining us from New York.